Hey everyone, welcome to another video for all things Brisbane International Film Festival. Please consider clicking that subscribe button because today I'm going to be talking about the second last film that I saw at the festival, and that is Todd Haynes' May December. So let's get into it. So this film is about mostly an actress played by Natalie Portman who is researching for her next role, and in doing so she meets her real life counterpart for the person that she's playing, who was involved in a very scandalous relationship 20 years ago, and they're still together. Basically what has happened is there is a massive age gap, and the relationship started when her partner, played by Charles Melton, was 13 years of age. Obviously, we're in some very illegal territory here. It's a very controversial relationship that she's analyzing and exploring. And what we're doing here is we're really just unlayering these characters and figuring out more and more about them, what led them to be in such a predicament, and get a real grip on who they are. And the way that Todd Haynes plays with this was very, very dynamic and very interesting. There's all sorts of things that become unveiled about these characters, and by the end of the movie, your perspective is completely skewed. You don't know what to think, and it was just really well handled with what it managed to achieve. And apparently this film is loosely inspired by a real life case on Mary Kay Letourneau, who was basically in the exact same relationship that these two characters are. It's very fascinating. It's obviously very sickening, the details of this relationship and the kind of manipulation that goes on. Obviously, we're dealing with someone who has groomed someone else, and there's just all of this manipulation at play. Julianne Moore plays this figure, and she is brilliant in this role. I haven't seen everything that she's done, but this is my favorite performance from her. The way that she's able to really become this manipulative person, and the way that her character just slightly changes throughout the course of the movie was brilliant stuff. I could say the same thing about Natalie Portman as this actress character. You know, she's kind of working through our lens a little bit in terms of investigating what happened here. Why did this relationship even commence, and why is it still going? We're unearthing that through Natalie Portman's character, and her performance as well is so incredible. Probably my favorite performance from her since Black Swan. It is very subtle and very nuanced. Todd Haynes focuses on all the little details here, and it makes the ending of this movie so much sweeter if you can pick up on all of these little cues. There's so many moments that happen throughout the course of the film, and you see this full transformation for Natalie Portman into this character as she's slowly starting to learn more and more about her. And a big thing for me was that I want to see more movies about an actor's process on how they become another character. I find it very satisfying, and this may be the first movie I've seen that actually dives into that properly. And I was super fascinated with that whole arc that Natalie Portman goes on throughout this film. And it is so subtle and brilliant. You start to see her hair change slightly. You start to see her mannerisms change slightly. Her makeup change slightly. She's slowly evolving into this person. And the way that it manages to weave these little details in within this brilliant screenplay was almost perfectly executed, I thought. You then have Charles Melton, who is the obvious victim of this whole scenario, and he is also subtly starting to reveal who he is to us as the film progresses. He's holding a lot in, and when we start to get answers and a little bit more of a perspective of where he's coming from, he has some very showy scenes that are absolutely brilliant. There's been a lot of talk about how Todd Haynes always gets his actors nominated for Oscars. I would honestly not be upset if all three of these performers got nominated in their respective categories because they're all so brilliant. Not going into spoiler details, of course, but I found that the very ending of this film completely made the movie for me. A lot of the stuff that I really remember about this, the stuff that really makes it stand out and makes it feel very special, is the ending, as we just get this really neat conclusion as to everything that has happened. It ties the whole thing together beautifully in a way that almost leaves you a little bit sick in your stomach. And I absolutely love the type of ending that Todd Haynes went for here. And he really wants to explore everything, especially with Charles Melton's character, as we don't just get his perspective on this incident as someone who is clearly a victim, but we get his entire family's perspective. We get Julianne Moore's family's perspective as well on this very incident. And because we're getting all of these different perspectives, it makes our central characters even more nuanced and with a lot more to explore there. And I think the balance between the family, Charles Melton, Julianne Moore, and Natalie Portman was all perfectly balanced, I thought. The only thing that I felt held us back a little bit was maybe the first 10 to 15 minutes as we're really trying to settle into this movie. I was at points during those moments thinking that it was a little inessential, this movie, and I was questioning what the purpose of this film was, but really that doesn't bother me too much as we progress all the way throughout the film and we start getting answers and perspective. It's just a little bit more of a slow burn in the beginning. Look, overall, May December is honestly a very satisfying and a bone-chilling film at times, and I really appreciated the screenplay, the direction, and especially these performers. This will be releasing on Netflix, I think, in a little bit over a week's time, and I definitely think you should check it out. It is brilliant stuff. You will not forget it. I was honestly shocked at how much I enjoyed this movie. I was not expecting to love this as much as I did, but I came out of May December just completely enthralled by this entire film. As a score, I'm going to give May December a 4.5 out of 5. I really, really love it. And it was one of the best films of the festival. A very stacked festival this has been. And we're getting just another great film here. So those are my thoughts towards May December. Let me know what you think about the movie in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.